Yo, what's up, Titan family? Here we are live. Happy Thursday, almost the end of the work week, which should be absolutely meaningless to you guys because you guys are hustling 6 and 7 days a week. Just kidding, but not really. Anyway, hey, I saw a really cool post in our mastermind group today that I just wanted to comment on. I started actually typing out the comments and then it got a little bit long winded. So I said, hey, let's jump on the live and I can just give you my thoughts on this thing. We did 2 live sessions yesterday, which was kind of cool. I like that format. We can be a little bit interactive. And I know I tend to go off on a tangent sometimes. So as long as you can bear with me there, again, I can give you my thoughts on this. So, and you guys are used to seeing me drink my water, tea, or kombucha, but sometimes you just have to enjoy a cold one. Voice. But yeah, man, I'm a cold Guinness. I'm drinking on the job. One of the benefits of being your own boss, you can drink on the job. So first off, before I go into this, I just want to shout out to Brenda. Brenda, hey, I see your comments. I'm really appreciating your engagement in our group. I want to encourage everybody to do so. Before I get into the specific post, I kind of just want to say this, right? Now, there are times where people post stuff and I agree or give you my feedback, and there's some times where I don't agree, right? And so there are a lot of times I'm going to give you my feedback and you're going to say, man, wow, Mike, that was awesome. That really helped me. That really helped my business or helped me in what I'm doing on a daily basis or whatever. And then there's sometimes you're going to see my message or hear my response and be like, damn, Mike, you kind of a dick. Like, what the fuck, right? And I really just want to point out, I'm very proud of Brenda and everyone else posting here. And I want to thank you guys because any feedback that I give you, it comes out of love, man. I really do want to see each and every one of you successful. And to be honest, it does me no good to just try to like pat you on the back for everything or just agree with everything. Just be like, this is awesome. I mean, encouragement's good, positive feedback's good. But if I see mistakes or something, it is my job as somebody who cares about you and cares about your future and cares about your family and cares about everything to really give you like good, honest feedback. So that's what I'm going to do. So if I do that and it kind of like stings a little bit, just know that that comes from a good place, and that's what positive feedback's for. These are the type of people you want to surround yourself with. Don't surround yourself with like yes men all the time. And then don't let that discourage you, because it's only when people post about their struggles and their obstacles or things that they're doing and put themselves out there that I get a better idea of what everyone's doing, and I can give you that feedback that you can then use to become better. So don't let this discourage you from posting in any way. I'm not saying it's going to get bad, but just like, maybe for future reference, don't let this discourage you in any way. Please keep that feedback coming. Keep the conversation going. And by the way, you don't have to agree with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this stuff is just my opinion and stuff that comes from, obviously I do have experience and stuff like that. So just use it, right? Use the feedback. So let's go ahead and get into the question. It's a little bit general, but I think I give you some specific points that really help you out. So the question, what has been one of the most difficult things you have or had to overcome in this process? What did you do, or how did you make it through? I'd like to hear stories from other people who are going through this process with me. I'm new, and I know I'm not the only one that struggles a little in all aspects. For example, fear of rejection, failure, or offer fright. When you're afraid to submit an offer, laugh out loud. Let me know. And then we got a couple comments right there. So again, thank you very much for the question. I think it's an awesome question. That's what I wanted to comment on. So here are a couple of things that I have, and then I've seen in my own personal life. I've seen when I first got started in the game. I've been in mastermind groups. I've been in group masterminds. I've seen other people struggle. And then now being a coach for several years, this is what I've seen from other students and how I can dissect what makes a student successful and what doesn't. So the first thing I'm going to start with is consistency, your habits. A lot of you are starting off, especially when you come in excited and motivation. This can even be the downside of motivation. So you get that initial like, I just want to do it all. Right, and you start off very strong, but eventually, if you don't convert that into a consistent habit, it just trails off and dies down. And so the analogy you guys have heard me use it probably on the YouTube channel or in the 41 Ways to Find Motivated Sellers. It's a free ebook, and it's also in the membership portal. I talk about that diet analogy. A lot of people, let's say, are trying to lose weight, and so they spend hours on all of these forums and bodybuilding.com. And I can say this too because I've absolutely been guilty of doing this, right? And you try to find the best workout. You try to find the best diet. You got all these options. You got South Beach and Atkins and keto and low carb and, all this different stuff, right? Paleo, whatever. And then you have HIIT cardio and regular cardio. And then you have, should I lift like heavy weights for low reps or like lighter weights for high reps? All this different information, right? And so what happens is you do one method for, let's say a week. You don't see results. I got to switch to the next one. Then you do the next one for a week. You don't see results. You switch to the next one. And then you're not consistent following one program. In our case, let's say like if you're going after one type of lead source. And so, or if you, or your habits, doing the same thing in our situation, making offers every day. And if you're not consistent with it, it's just not going to happen for you. So rather, that person who's always switching their diet every week, it'll be better if they just chose one diet. Check this out. I'm going to do the Atkins diet. I'm going to do it for 8 weeks, regardless of what happens, regardless of seeing any type of results. I'm just going to do it at the end of 8 weeks. Then I'll stop. I'll evaluate what I did, reevaluate, make adjustments along the way. And so when I talk about consistency, one of the things we talk about in the program is committing to your daily offers, right? So the students who have been successful, these are guys, a lot of them still working full-time jobs, and they just commit to 5 or 10 offers every single day. And they say, Mike, I'm going to do the 5 offers every morning. And I'd much rather have someone who does 5 offers every single day, but they do it 6 days a week, even 5 days a week, whatever, than the person who says, Mike, I'm so excited. I'm going to do 100 offers. And they go out and they do 100 offers, and they can't follow up, or then they go like, the next week they don't do anything, and then it's just so scattered. So the first thing I'm telling you guys is consistency, and that's why it's so important. After in the materials, you go through the core curriculum, and then you fill in that secondary registration that basically, says I've completed the core curriculum, and you graduate to what I'll call the elite student status. One of the first tasks in there I have you guys do is fill out your schedule. And that's because I'm trying to have you adopt habits to the point where they become more or less unconscious. They become a part of your routine. And I have a lot of evidence to back this up, not only from my personal use, but I came to that from reading and learning about this stuff and the personality traits and habits of the most successful people. And a lot of it comes down to that habit. And so, yes, you can deviate from your routine. You guys saw me do it yesterday. I took a whole morning off. Jade and I went to the water park, right? But what I'm saying is not every day needs to look the same. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday doesn't need to look the same. But from week to week, it should look pretty similar. So your should look like your Tuesday next week. And then you can make adjustments along the way. But I'm really trying to build into you guys the habit. It's like, again, back to the gym routine or the gym analogy. If you first start going to the gym and you don't have like a set schedule, it can be very difficult to keep going, right? But let's say for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you've been going every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The next Monday comes around, you don't think, am I going to the gym today? It's just what you do. It becomes a part of you. And so that's one thing I'm really trying to ingrain into you guys is the consistency factor. So that's going to be number one. The next thing is speed. So a lot of things I teach you guys, I don't even like to harp on you guys, understand these methods to perfection. I just want you to briefly have a good understanding of it, at least like theoretically, like you understand the purpose, but really the faster you get started, the faster you do the things that I'm teaching you, the faster you start to see results. And speed of implementation, it's very important, but it's also like speed in terms of reaction. And so I'm going to give you an example here, right? A lot of wholesalers, and I had a discussion with a student on this just yesterday, actually, because he was telling me, I think he was at like a seller's house or something. He saw stacks of like these postcards or letters or whatever, and he was kind of worried about that competition. I said, dude, don't worry about it. What you want to focus on is speed, because speed it's a game winner in so many instances. So again, not only a game winner in terms of implementation of the things you learn, but let's say just getting back to a seller. So me, I very much believe in doing deep work. This is a concept I learned from a book called Deep Work. It's by Cal Newport. But basically it just says, try to work in blocks of time, at least 3-4 hours, because when you can focus, not only you're training your brain and your habits, and it's a big book, right? But the takeaway there is instead of doing, these little 20 minutes here or there, stuff like that, especially as our society through social media in particular is trying to get like these little hits of dopamine, which is really like decreasing our attention span. So if you're on Instagram, you watch like 15-second clips, that's how you're becoming accustomed to getting your information. So it's something I really try to train is doing these extended periods of this deep work. And so a lot of times I just put my phone on, like, let's say airplane mode, or I put it out of sight so I'm not distracted when I'm doing my work. But I have stuff where people come to one of my motivated seller funnels and they put their information in. Man, I get that information everywhere. I have it so it comes to me in multiple emails. I get a text message. I get it transcribed. I get a voicemail. It comes through my Google Hangouts. It comes through transcribed in a Google Hangout text message, everything. And the second I get it, the faster I can get back to that person, the better. You'd be so surprised how many people spend all this money on their direct marketing, all their mail, whatever. The person calls, they hit a voicemail box. Now, if a seller is very much distressed and they do have a stack of, let's say, 10 letters, if they hit the first 4 and they go to voicemail, the 5th one, most likely to get that deal if that 5th guy picks that phone up immediately. I can't tell you how many times, guys, I see other wholesalers. Maybe I see even stuff advertised on Craigslist or something. Another wholesaler has a property for sale. I'm like, dude, I got a buyer that'll take that. I hit them up. I'm like, yo, this is Mike Hill, whatever. I got a buyer's list. I got a buyer that will take that. Serious buyer, not like some tire kicker. Like, we're ready to go. Let's go. Hit me back. And a lot of times there's an email. Not only am I going to call them, leave a voice message, I'm going to email them. Then after that, I'm going to send them a text message. And I'm just going to keep repeating that. And sometimes I do that 3-4 times in a row in a day. I do that the next day, 3-4 days in a row. And that person hits me up like 5 days later. And they're like, what's up? And I'm like, really? And I see that problem with a lot of you guys as students. There are times where we'll talk about a deal or something that you are making an offer on Monday. And then, Thursday, I'll be like, yeah, I haven't heard from such and such in a while. And I shoot you an email. I'm like, hey, how's that deal going? What's up? And you're like, Friday. Oh, I didn't hear back from the listing agent. And you mean you didn't hear back? Listen, don't expect other people to get back to you. Like, just don't have that expectation. You need to be on top of it. You need to be operating with that sense of urgency. Don't wait for people. Even if they say they're going to do something, they might mean well, but you cannot put your fate, your pockets, your money, your livelihood in somebody else's hand. So the next thing is speed. It's speed of implementation of the things you're learning, and then speed of dealing with people, be it a cash buyer or a motivated seller. The faster you do these things, the better. All right, so the next thing is going to be volume. Now, listen, guys, I've said this before. There is randomness to the game. People want to know, like, hey, when can you guarantee I get my first deal? And the truth of the matter is, regardless of what people say, there is a degree of randomness. Now, obviously, we always want to have results that are predictable and replicatable. You don't want to go into July and say, well, am I going to make a deal this month or not? You want to know, hey, I don't know how much it's going to be. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I know a deal is coming. And so the only way to get that is through volume. So you might, let's say you make 100 offers. You might get a deal on the second offer you make, or say you put out 100 bandit signs. You might get a deal on the second offer, the second bandit sign, the second piece of mail, or you might get nothing from 99 and you might get it from the 100th one. The only way to make this predictable and replicatable and consistent, back to that consistency factor, is to hit volume. Some of you are just not doing enough, right? So if I say, for example, and I use the MLS example because I call that the low-hanging fruit, right? Because some of you guys are a little bit more advanced where you're doing direct mail and stuff like that, and that's cool. I have that program laid out for you guys. But a lot of you are starting with very low budgets, no budget, or you're kind of in between, so you're still doing your MLS stuff. Part of that, look, if you make, again, back to the phone call example, you can make 100 calls. You might get the deal on the second call, might not come to the 100, but you got to keep up with, again, back to consistency, but also volume, right? So if I say to some of you guys, hey, make 100 calls, most of you are not doing that. If you're honest with yourself, and I might say make 100 calls in a week, and a lot of you are like, damn, that's difficult, that's hard, I'm working, blah, 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 whatever. But break it down, and this is where back to the habit thing comes in here, right? So if I say make 100 calls in a week, if you make 20 calls a day, let's say each call is maybe like 3 minutes, right? You're talking 1 hour worth of work. So it's 1 hour's worth of work in a day, 5 days a week. It's not that much, right? That's 100 calls right there, right? And that's okay. You can have reliable stuff. You make 100 calls, 100 offers. I guarantee you, probably at least, it depends on what level you are in terms of how good you are at making offers, market, stuff like that. So of course there are exceptions to every rule, but you're probably going to get about maybe 10 of them under contract. Of those 10, some of them, your offer is going to be way too high. They're going to suck. You might be able to negotiate down on some you might not. You got to just cancel them and lose them. But I bet one of them are probably going to turn into a deal. But some of you are just quitting too early. It's like you're stopping way too early. And another thing with that is also the follow-up, right? So that's kind of the next piece. The follow-up game is so important. I talked about this in our live session last night. Follow-up doesn't just mean, hey, I make the offer and then, I follow up one time and then I'm done. there are times you guys should be following up for months if you're dealing with a listing agent, for example, especially if you've already closed the deal with the listing agent. But let's just say you're dealing with a listing agent, you hit them up, um, you don't get the deal. Okay, you hit them up again, the deal is still under contract, pending, whatever. Let's say it gets sold. It doesn't stop there. You should be turning everyone that you meet, be it, like I said yesterday, the barista at Starbucks or the listing agent or whoever, into your bird dogs. So even if that one didn't work out, you still call that person. Maybe you're not following up on that deal, but you're following up with that agent. Hey, this is Mike. I hit you up several times in the last month for that deal. Hey, it's a shame it didn't work out. And don't be like these weird robots. I talked about that yesterday too. But it's like, these are people, man. Be personable, have some fun with this stuff. Laugh. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't worry too much about like rejection and stuff. I'll talk about that in just a second. But hit him up. Hey, John, man. Damn, bro. I just closed this last deal. I need something else. I know the last one didn't work out. What do you got for me, man? Hey, come on, man. Come on. I know you want to see me successful, right? Hey, John, do you want to see me successful? All right, cool. Promise me, bro. The next time you get a deal, you're going to call me first. That's all I need is a phone call. Come on, man. I got a daughter to put through college. She's counting on you, bud. Right? And you call him on Friday. And then, the next week, call him. By the fourth time, he doesn't get you anything. Again, he doesn't owe you anything. But by the fifth time, he'll be like, yeah, this dude, Mike, is serious. And he's not working with another agent. And he's giving me 6%. And he wants to buy multiple properties through the year. I got to hit this dude up, man. He's not going to remember you the first 2-3 times you call him. I promise you. By the time you hit this guy up 6-7 times, he's going to remember you. And then when he does get something, he's going to hit you up. And then also, because you framed yourself as that interested, as that person, they probably will start to like you at some point because you're kind of lowering that professional kind of, I don't know, you're kind of barrier or whatever. You're making it a little bit personal. But you're also framing yourself as a little bit different and someone who's very serious. So even at that point, when you talk to this person the 7th, 8th time, and they do bring you something, not only will they probably come to you first, but now you think they're going to be harassing you, like, but let me screen you for, with those proof of funds. It's probably just going to be assumed, not in every case, but in a lot of cases. So, and the follow-up is so important, and then it applies to everything. So if you're doing direct mail, the first round of letters you send. I remember one of my early deals, maybe like my third one, I mailed to a probate list. And I did that deal off the first round of mailers. That can happen. But again, traditional marketing, traditional direct mail tells us we need to touch a customer, consumer, whatever, at least 6 times before they reply to us, before they even acknowledge us. In a lot of cases, also people's life situations change. Maybe that first month they want to entertain other offers. Or maybe they're just not interested. But maybe by the 2nd, 3rd month, they start getting frustrated. Maybe they lose a job. Maybe that 4th month, they have to move. Maybe too many deals fell through that they thought were good, and now they're ready to close. Well, you just don't know. Maybe someone unfortunately passes away. Something like that. If things happen in people's lives, the chances that you're going to hit them at the perfect time, that first time, highly unlikely. It happens, but it's unlikely. So again, if you want to make this more predictable, you got to keep following up. So follow-up's important with your phone calls. It's important even if the deal doesn't go through. It's important when you're dealing with just people. Like I said, listing agents in particular. It's important when you are doing your direct mail campaigns. Like I said, I did that probate mail listing. I probably spent, it was when I was like writing these things and sending them out, I maybe spent like $100 on that campaign. And I got a deal immediately, several $1,000s profit. And then I've had times where I've spent thousands of dollars sending mail and I didn't get anything, right? So the point I'm making here is you guys got to follow up, right? So next thing, you guys got to just take action. There's sometimes where there's so much freaking speculation, be it the emails you guys send or the discussions in the Facebook group. It's just speculating, hey, or even get stuff. Mike, look at this deal. And I'm getting all this unnecessary information. The taxes were this much. The property appraiser said the land value is this much. And I don't know if they paid the taxes at this time. And the neighbor said this. And what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. When you want to know what a property will sell for, put it under contract. We'll send it to the marketplace. The marketplace and only the marketplace will tell you if you have a deal. I've had deals that I thought were home runs. I started counting that money. I was like, this is it, man. This is the deal. I sent it out on my buyers list. Nobody hit me up. Nothing. Canceled the deal. I didn't make a dime. Then I've had deals, it's like, man, this doesn't even look like a deal. If I put this out, man, my reputation is going to start looking like shit. I don't know. And I put it out there. Next thing you know, I'm getting 4 and 5 offers. People starting a bidding war. And then I actually end up getting paid more than I put it under contract for. So stop all this speculation. Last week, I had a student. She sent me over the course of maybe 3 days all this information about one property. And I kept telling her what to do. And then she emailed me back. But da-da-da-da, something else. But da-da-da. So eventually, I just shot a video on my, just made like another screen recording on my computer. And I said, this is how I would do it. And this is the exact offer I would make. And I just showed her. And the deal is still live. So I'm not going to put that video in the portal now. I don't want to be a conflict of interest. But when the deal is done, either she buys and wholesales it or it's just dead. I'll go ahead and post that into our portal so you guys can see how I did the analysis and how I did it very quickly using that kind of quick comp method. But then the point I made to her at the end of the video is like, look, you spent 3 days looking at this property where we kind of going back and forth. Whereas I just took an analysis in the next 2-3 minutes. Could my numbers be a little bit off? Could I not be the perfect offer? Maybe. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job. It's pretty, you'll see in the video, right? But maybe could be off. But at the same time, I just did that in 2 to 3 minutes, right? And if you and I sat down for 1 hour, during that 1 hour time, we could make, 30 offers. And especially if we're using a CRM, we could send off 30 offers in that one time instead of putting all this freaking emphasis and speculation and maybe and what would happen and what do you think and, all this unnecessary information and just hit that volume that we talked about before, right? So part of it is, again, it sounds cliche, guys. I know you hear all these different motivational talks or TED Talks. It's like, take massive action. But, there's truth to it, man. Just take action. Like, even if you screw up, even if you fail, it's inevitable. You're going to fail. You're going to fuck up. Like, it's just, it's unavoidable. But that's how you're going to do deals, right? So that's kind of the next thing I see. And look, we started with one Facebook post, and here we are talking about all these different things that I'm seeing. But again, it's important. The other thing is rejection. Some of you guys cannot handle rejection, or you're like, how do I make this to not get rejected? It's like, bro, you're going to get rejected. The sooner you it's simple, no thank you from the seller to like, oh, fuck you, your mom's a dirty whore. Like, I hate you for making me such a low offer. Like, like I've gotten, I say that facetiously. No one's ever called my mom a dirty whore. But I've gotten like really, people take some of this shit personally. It's like, dude, you just got to anticipate it. I'm actually gonna be putting out a video about like, we talking in the program about rejection, but I'm actually going to like a deeper level. But some of the best things you can do is just really like anticipate it, know that it's gonna come, and just not take it personally. I had a student who got a rejection that really wasn't even that harsh. Actually, no way, it was kind of harsh. It was from a listing agent. The agent told him, "You have no idea what you're doing. You're never gonna be successful." And he kind of felt the need to respond and tell the agent about himself. And saying like, hey, enjoy your whatever job and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, you can't, number one, don't even waste your time, your energy. Don't think about it, because also if you're reacting to that person, it means it's affecting you on some level. And you got to just let this stuff brush off you. Like, I get cursed out all the time. Like, it's going to happen. You got to like stop trying to avoid rejection, realize that it's just a part of the process, and just rock with it, man, and just keep going forward. And so then again, kind of bringing some of this stuff all together, a lot of you guys just quit too soon. You just quit too soon. Some of you are like almost there. But, the second somebody rejects you really harshly, then you don't want to make phone calls again. You might have like 10 mediocre calls and you don't get the deal, but like nobody really like hurts your feelings. So you keep making calls. But then that one agent that's just like, fuck off. Like, what are you doing? You're a scam artist or something like that. And then you just like, oh, I don't want to make calls anymore. And so you gotta not do that. So again, back to that thing we talked about earlier about, have you made your 100 calls or 100 offers? Most of you not getting there. You maybe make 20 phone calls, 30 phone calls, and then you're done. And again, that number 100 sounds intimidating, but if you break it down and make it part of your schedule and your habits, it's really actually pretty easy. It's not too difficult. So next, like I said, enjoy a cold one from time to time. On the job. Some other stuff I wanted to kind of mention that really ties into this stuff, right? So some other things that I see people doing that I think you should kind of think about is also, I don't want you doing like too much analysis. We talked about that a moment ago. It stops you from taking action. If I had a choice between you doing zero analysis or like too much, I'd probably rather have you do zero and just get your feet wet and just learn by falling on your face. But in the program we do talk. There is some point of analysis should be done, and a big part of that is the target market. So you guys know I spend a lot of time training you on how to ensure you're in a good market where there's enough volume, there's enough demand. Videos on that. I got videos on my public channel on that as well. But another part of that, and you'll see some more of this actually coming out in the portal, is, and I had a conversation with a student the other day about this, but it's also making sure that these fit your lifestyle. So there's a certain way that, there's a lot of different methods for finding deals out there. Not only do you want to find the ones that work in your marketplace, that's more the external thing, but you want to find out what works for you. So back in the day, for example, I did bandit signs, and I did that out of necessity, right? And I was just trying different things, and I did do deals during bandit signs. Nowadays, I don't do bandit signs, not because for motivated sellers. I use them for cash buyers still, but for the most part, I don't like getting up and going out, putting signs out all the time. Now, yes, there's Simple Crew and stuff like that where these guys will put bandit signs out for you, and I think that's a great way of outsourcing. I've heard very good things about that service. Haven't used it yet. When I do, and when it's proven, and when I can show you statistics and data and analytics saying, yes, I've done it, I put this much money, this is how it works, I'll present it to you guys. But until then, I'm just letting you know, you got to figure out what works for you. I've got a popular video on YouTube that talks about like how I use code enforcements as one of my lists for direct mail in Hollywood. Every day I get emails and I get direct, what do you call them, IMs, DMs, whatever. Mike, I tried this in my city and it doesn't work. I'm like, bro, what do you want me to do? You want me to call your governor, call your mayor and be like, bro, Sarah needs this list online, man. Like, you need to get that shit out there. I said, dude, it's just not there. So, you also want to do what's easiest for you. Some of the lists I target, they might be the best list, they might not. But, for example, I do absentee owners who have just evicted a tenant, and I also do like probates. One of the reasons I chose that method is because in my county and certain municipalities that you guys might have available, I can buy that list online without going to the courthouse. There were times in the past when I was targeting other cities and places. I used to spend a lot of time in the courthouse, and I did that because I needed to, because I was trying to quit a job desperately, did what I had to do. Now, I don't need to go to the courthouse, and I can buy these lists online for $6. You know what I'm saying? So also, when you're doing your target market exercise stuff, make sure that you're picking things that externally, have demand and stuff like that, but also make sure that and what works for you. So the next thing I want to do is kind of read some of the comments. We had the initial question, which like I said, I go on tangents on these things. You can see why I didn't write the whole answer, right? All right, so let's look at some of the responses. So the comment next. So again, the initial question was like, what are some of the most difficult things you had to overcome? All right, so comment. For me, it's actually finding unlisted properties I can contact. But I'm not going to lie, I have not tried skip tracing, so that is next on the agenda ASAP. From reading all over the place, it seems cold calling is the most effective way to get a property on the contract. I'm also looking to Facebook ads, definitely a process. All right, next comment. I've used Been Verified to find vacant properties owner information. It's definitely helpful. I like how you're exploring your options. Haven't gotten that far yet. I'm targeting expired listings with little equity. We'll see what results I yield. Thanks for sharing. All right, so guys, check this out. I'm not going to say that these things don't work. So I'm not here to discourage you in any way. At the same time, I think that especially based on some of your specific situations and knowing where you are, you have to maximize what is the best use of your time. And if you're spending marketing dollars, what is the best use of your marketing dollars? The materials really in the membership portal in a very specific way. And some of you guys, there's shiny bells and whistles all over. And I know sometimes you get caught up on forums. You see the next cool looking thing, or you want to do it or whatever. And part of this thing is really stick to the process, stick to the things that work, know the materials put out there in a certain way. If you have questions about stuff that you're doing, I've had people who are not being successful, who have been in the program for like a month or two, it's not working. I'm like, okay, what are you doing for your, lead gen? And all they're doing is looking at Craigslist. I'm like, dude, stop. Where did I say to do that? Especially, as a beginner, there's some stuff you can get at Craigslist, but for the most part, most motivated sellers are not on Craigslist putting their shit out there. I mean, I've seen that in a lot of home study courses and shit, but like that was back in like 2010 or something like that. Like I just don't use it. I don't see that. It's like, where are you getting that information? I don't recommend it. I think, not saying that you could never do a deal that way, but there are better things out there. There's things that I've tried or true that have worked, and I really lay this process out in very specific ways and try to keep it actionable and objective for a reason. Now, this coming week, I'm actually putting some more stuff and some additional modules and training into the membership portal just to help you guys get even more micro on this and specific into what you should be doing. And for those that have the direct access to me and the VIP upgraded stuff, reach out to me with these kind of questions because we need to talk. Some of these things are not the best use of your time; they're not working. And then also there are times where like you'll see my specific spin on why I do things a certain way. This emphasis also that I'm seeing here on these unlisted properties, dude, I get this shit all the time, right? Unlisted properties are cool. They're dope. I have some investors that a lot of investors contact, I wouldn't even say investors. A lot of people contact me and say, I only want your unlisted shit. And when I get that email, a lot of times, not always, I could be wrong, but a lot of times it makes me second guess. It means maybe that person is getting a lot of emails from wholesalers who are circulating other people's deals and they just don't want to keep getting the same shit over and over. And that's cool. Like I recommend that. So I'm, 95% of the stuff I put out is like a direct deal and stuff from you guys, from my students. So I kind of get that. But also I take it as that person is either probably a wholesaler, and looking to get the unlisted deal and maybe do a JV, or they're kind of, I don't want to say tire kicker, but they might be a little bit more on the amateur side because they just don't know that you can get deals that are listed, or they've maybe listened to some home study course or watched some videos that told them that, but they're not necessarily in the trenches. My best buyers do not give a shit where my deals come from. They care if they can make money from them. So if I bring a deal to my investor, I mean, think about it, you guys. You're an investor. You got $100,000 sitting in your bank. I call you, ring. Yo, this is Mike. How you doing? Blah blah blah. And remember, I do talk to people. By the way, when you deal with motivated sellers or buyers, off on a tangent again. These are not numbers. These are people. They're trying to make a living. Like, don't be so robotic and professional, especially if you're looking to leave the corporate world. Maybe we're trained that way. Hello, Mr. Sir and Sir. Blah blah blah. It's like, dude, people, like, have some personality, build some relationships, build some rapport. Like, people love to hear from you when you're there saying, hey, I'm trying to service you, man. There are times where I tell people like, hey, I got this deal. Yo, Nick, I got this deal, man. Look, I haven't been there. It's a foreclosure. I checked the numbers out. It looks pretty tight. I'm not 100%. Here's a lockbox code. I haven't been there. Go check it out. Let me know what you think, right? And we have a relationship where, I can trust. Some people will try to shark you and screw you, whatever. But a lot of these guys will come back to me and say, hey, these are my numbers. This is what I think. And I say, listen, let me go back to someone and talk to you. I'm going to negotiate this. I'm going to make it work for all of us. We have that relationship. Build these relationships. When you deal with your buyers, treat them as people. Build your relationships. It's about rapport building. So again, that was a tangent. And I lost my train of thought for a bit. What was I saying? Oh, when I go to a buyer, or like, you guys, imagine you had the $100,000 in the bank and I call you. I'm like, hey, this is Mike. How you doing? How are the kids, right? Whatever. Listen, I got this deal. It's worth $100,000. I got it for $50,000. Only needs $10,000 worth. Put 10 into it. You'd be all in for $60,000. We're not talking about closing cost stuff. Bear with me for the example, right? You put $60,000 into it. You're gonna make $40K. Or maybe even more now. You're gonna make $50K, $60K. Are you gonna look at me and be like, was it listed? Did you get it from the MLS? Like, that's fucking retarded. You're gonna be like, yo, I can make 50 grand. Let me go check it out. Let me run my numbers. And then if you can, and you know that I have it under direct contract and you can make that money, you're gonna say, here's your assignment fee, or you're gonna sign for the double closing. You don't give a shit where it comes from. So this whole guy's, well, I need to get unlisted properties. Dude, I've shown you. You've seen in a membership report. You've seen on my YouTube channel. You've seen the list of deals I do. And again, I keep talking about these because a lot of you are working with little or no budget right now. It's a great place to start. It's low-hanging fruit. Yes, a lot of my unlisted deals tend to be the larger spreads. You can make $30,000 on some of those properties, stuff like that. You should pursue them, but don't put yourself in a box. Don't be like, I only want unlisted because that's what the investors say they want. It's not true. And you've seen the videos, 19,000 on a listed property. Also, I'm not a huge rehabber, but the rehab I done, not the latest one, but the one I did the YouTube video a while back. Not 14th Avenue. I'm getting it mixed up. 4th Avenue, Boynton Beach. Go look it up. 824 Northwest 4th Avenue in Boynton Beach. You see, you can check Sunbiz. We bought an LLC, but you can check Sunbiz. You see my name. It's there. Bought that property for $81,000. Owned the MLS. It was on the MLS. It was sitting there. I hit the listing agent up. I think it was one of Ralph's deals. I said, Ralph, I made my offer. It was like a 10-day inspection or 7-day inspection. At first, he was like, "No, fuck that. I'm not giving you that. Screw that." I said, "All right, dude, give me 5 days inspection." I actually put the deal out to my buyers list. My mentor put out his buyers list. Nobody wanted it, but I knew my numbers, right? I said, "This is going to be a deal." Kept the deal. Put, I think, about 40,000 into that deal, and you can see it on a property appraiser site. Sold it for $210,000. Made $90,000 off of that deal. It was on the MLS. So don't tell me about you need unlisted deals, right? It's just not true. So again, don't put yourself in a box, and don't start bringing these ideas that you hear that just sound good. It's just, whatever. I think I beat that shit to the ground enough. So again, next, the stuff, the training is in there. Also, the training that's in there is there not only from a place of, yeah, you're going to get deals, but it's also structured in such a way that it's part of your education. If I'm telling you to make calls and deal with these motivated sellers and talk to the buyers, part of it is your education. Even if these deals don't work out, even if you get cursed out, a part of it is training you how to speak to these agents. It's giving you an idea how to talk to these motivated sellers. Maybe, especially if you start, again, not everybody's the same, but if someone's in a probate or a divorce, they might be experiencing things where you need to, for example, show some empathy. You know what I'm saying? The follow-up schedule, things like that, it's important. But a part of me putting this type of stuff into the portal and into the modules and into the training is to show you guys how you should be doing this. Now, one thing I don't talk about, you probably haven't heard this one before, but one of my earlier deals, probably like less than number 10, maybe like 6, 7, was pretty decent, especially for me, like at the time. So I maybe made like 12,000 or something, which to date was like one of my best deals. And I was like, dude, yeah, I got this. And, I got really into the concept of just outsourcing. I had read like the 4-hour work week, and I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm ready to make bank. And I actually hired a VA. I wrote up a training manual and stuff like that. And I was just like, here you go, do it. I gave him the tasks and everything. But I wasn't necessarily at a point where I was that skilled, where I was even ready to teach that to him. And so very, very quickly, I was just like, okay, my money's going to start rolling in hands off. And I'm just kicking it and chilling and not doing the work that I should have been doing. And I just watched that money savings I had just dwindle out. And, the guy was trying. It was nothing on his part, but he wasn't trained adequately. And I learned that lesson the hard way, right? So a part of the point I'm making is, look, I very much believe in outsourcing and automating and, enjoy your life. But especially for a lot of you guys first just getting started, you have to get your hands dirty. You got to get in the mud. You got to talk to these motivated sellers. You want to train a team one day, you have multiple people, you got to know what your people are doing. If you want to just get train a VA, you got to talk to these agents. You got to talk to these sellers. You got to talk to these buyers and learn firsthand and get those rejections and get cursed out and all these different things and get that training. So again, the material is laid out in a certain way, not for you to go off and try to do other stuff that sounds fancy. It's to follow the process. The process there, I promise you, it works when you do it with consistency and when you do it with volume. It works. Next thing is bin verified, skip tracing, stuff like that. So that's another one. We're talking about skip tracing. Some of you guys are not that far in the process, and again, it's not to discourage you, and you make your own moves and stuff. You could end up with a deal. You could just whatever. But I, in my business, actually do very little skip tracing, very little. And I'll tell you why. Part of it is having this abundance mentality and abundance mindset. Part of it is because I did do my analysis. I do know my market well. I know there's demand here. Maybe if I was in some little town in Alabama or something, there are actually some places in Alabama with a lot of demands. Let me just say, like a smaller place. Maybe I couldn't have that abundance mentality. Maybe at that point you need to reevaluate, maybe drive a little bit, get a little bit further out of your home where you live, or maybe look at some virtual stuff or do some JV stuff here with me. But the point that I'm making is, once you know that you should be in a place where you have this abundance mentality and abundance mindset, because a lot of you, check this out, you're working with a budget, a marketing budget that either maybe doesn't exist, or $100 or $200 a month, and here you're going to go skip tracing for, let's say, $10 a lead, right? And you don't even have a CRM yet. The CRM should come first, right? Where you manage all your business and your contacts and your leads and your follow-up system and all that stuff. And you worry about skip tracing. Why? Because you heard it on a podcast and that shit sounded cool, but then you realize, all right, check this out. Let's say you're going to skip trace, 10 people. Half of those you might not get in contact with at all. what you're going to pay for the skip trace. Then let's say you get in touch with, let's say you get in touch with one guy. I found him. I got his number. I'm going to call Mr. Johnson right now. It took me a month to find this. Maybe it took you a day. I don't know. Hit him up. Yo, Mr. Johnson. Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm good, man. I'm not interested in selling. There goes all your hard work and your money for that whole week. Whereas, especially in the beginning, when I talk about volume, you got to fill that pipeline, where it doesn't matter. And then also the reason you got to cultivate this abundance mentality is because when it comes time to negotiate, and you need to negotiate contracts, believe me, I have students and they're on their first deal and they place so much importance. We can get into I've mentioned before, the concept of transurfing. I'm going to start talking to you guys a little bit more about that, but balancing forces and putting too much importance on things, all these different let's say quantum physics type stuff, why you shouldn't do that. But to keep it tangible and like in this moment, when it comes to negotiating, the person who cares less is probably going to win, right? So when students come to me and they go back to negotiating, like, I don't know if I should ask for $10,000 reduction. Number one, if you do it properly, you still have the contract regardless. So you guys should know that by now. But when you have this, like, I got to make this happen, it has to happen, you lose your power in negotiating, right? But when you have the mindset of, I got 100 properties out there, you don't want to negotiate with me, you don't want to give me the price I want, fuck yeah, I'll go to the next one. That's when you're going to start getting deals. And the best way to cultivate that abundance mindset is to make a lot of offers. Can you imagine, right? So again, back to your skip tracing, you spending all your time, money, effort, working on this one lead, and that person might not even be freaking interested. It might not be a wholesale deal. People ask me all the time, how do I make a seller take a low offer? You're not going to make anybody take a low offer if they're not motivated. It just doesn't make sense. Like, think about what you're saying. For properties worth 100, it's the same model as a pawn shop, right? A pawn shop doesn't say, how do I make someone walk in here with a 10K engagement ring and sell it to me for $1,000? They don't do that. They recognize many people have $10,000 rings. Or maybe not 10,000. Many people have expensive rings. Majority of people are not going to sell them. But that one person who's very motivated, hard up on cash, maybe going through a divorce, maybe they got to pay for his kids' college bills or have some medical thing, they'll come in there and that pawn shop owner will say, look, the lady will say, look, this ring is worth $10,000. Can you give me $9,000 for it? And the guy said, yeah, I'll give you $5,000, maybe $1,000. If that person is not motivated, they're going to say, no, thanks, and walk out the door. You don't chase them. But if they're super motivated, they can say, okay, I'll take $1,000, right? So that's the difference. And you come across that through volume, guys, like just hitting up a lot of people. So again, actually, okay, so here's an email I got that I wrote not too long ago to another one of you guys, specifically about the skip tracing. Now, to give you the short answer that you guys want, I've used a site with relative success called www.findtheseller.com if you absolutely insist, right? It's a good balance between some of the results you'll get. It's better than a service like Spokio or whatever. But again, no service is like 100%, so you guys can look into that. But again, I don't recommend it. And I do very little skip tracing because let's say I walk through, buy a vacant property or something. I'm going to take the address. I'm going to start sending them direct mail, and then that's it. Dude, I'm just going to let it go because there's like a law of diminishing returns, right? So there might be one person who say, look, you can work, I'll give you two scenarios, right? You can work 80 hours a week and make $200,000 a year. Or you can work 20 hours a week and make $175,000 a year. I'm the dude who's going to work the 20 hours and make $175,000. Some people say, hey, I'll put in that extra 60 hours a week to make the extra $25,000 a year. And that's cool if that's you. Money's your priority. I appreciate what your priorities are. With your finances, cool, that's you. But a lot of things I do is for my lifestyle, right? So I'm not going to go just that hard and go and do all this skip trace and all this other bullshit. I'm just gonna just keep making offers and put my volume out there, and what comes back to me, it's kind of how I want to live my life. So back to this email I wrote, I made this analogy, which I look at it, I didn't do the math, so I don't know if it makes sense, but hopefully you guys get it anyway. So I just said, look at it this way, right? Let's say you got a hat and there are bits of paper in it that are labeled 1 to 100, right? So you pick a number from that hat, you get an unlimited number of times. So you play one of two games. The first game goes like this. Every time you pick the number 7, so that's a 1 in 100 chance, you win $1,000. Big payday. But it costs you 50 cents to draw a number. So you're going to get a big payday, but you got to pay a lot more to play, and your chances are very, very slim, 100. Or option number 2, every time you pick an odd number, so your chances are 50-50, you're going to win $10. And it costs 10 cents to draw a number. So I'm the dude, again, I don't know if the numbers actually work out. So don't, if you're a nerd and you actually do that, you should be making offers with that time. But really, I hope you get the point. The point is, I'm the guy who's going to go option number 2. It's less money, it's less effort, it takes less time, and some of those profits are smaller, but I'm just going to win more times because I'm just moving, and doing more and more and more. And instead of spending time, I'm putting all this emphasis, all this effort, all this importance on this one lead that may never work out, at all, ever. So, yeah, that's something that I wanted to say out there, right? So yeah, that was the next point, right? So again, I'm not saying this is bad, but for some of you, like I said, if you're on that small budget, you don't even have a CRM and stuff like that, you shouldn't even be looking at like all this skip tracing and stuff like that. It's not the best use of your time. So again, just to recap, guys, consistency, you got to get in the habit of doing these things. These things got to be a part of your daily routine every single day. Speed, you got to be working fast, implementing fast, hitting back sellers, buyers quickly, right? So there's two parts to the speed game, two different dynamics there. Volume, you just got to hit volume. You always got to be filling up your pipeline, whether it be your direct mail, your office, stuff like that. And then follow-up. The follow-up game has got to be, you got to, and that's where planning and having your schedule and why I have you guys do that in the action plan when you get to that point of the curriculum is so crucial. So many of you guys, I'm surprised, honestly, just pass over that part. You got to start working the plan and stuff like that and figuring the facts. And, we talk about like the KPIs and all the different things. But you skip like the schedule. And yeah, I have you start basics. I want you to build up, but that's crucial. That's where we're building foundations. So it's very, very important. If you haven't done that, you need to go back and do that. Next, master one or two of these techniques first. Back to that diet example. You can't be trying, I'm going to try one thing and the next week that didn't work. I didn't get a deal this week. I got to try something else. One thing for a lot of you guys, small budgets or no budget, you really got to be hitting up these MLS leads. There are deals in there, right? If you're not the best, you have me. I establish very, very good, highly qualified buyers list that hit me up all the time. You find the things that I have laid out, you have my criteria, you know what I'm looking for, you find it, send it to me. We'll split the deal, we'll do the deal. And then you have capital that you can put back into your business and start using for your direct mail marketing, stuff like that. Next, stop doing all this busy work. Being busy is not important. I don't give a shit. You're not in this program to learn just how to wholesale. You're not in this program to feel productive. I don't give a shit about that. You're in this program to make deals, to make money. So when you get into like all these questions about naming your LLC and how should I name my LLC and is it better to set it up in Delaware and all this bullshit, and I'm buying office supplies today and I'm looking for the best skip tracing service and what's the better list. I'm going to do research for like 10 hours on biggerpockets.com. Stop doing that. Here's the only way to make deals, right? Here's the big secret. Ready? Make sure nobody hears me. The way to make deals is make offers. You have to make offers. Yes, I have you guys doing a set number of inquiries and phone calls, but phone calls at the end of the day, they're great, they're important, you should do them, but a phone call is not an offer. An offer is a written contract that you send to the seller or to the agent. That is an offer. That's what goes on your check mark when we're tracking your stuff daily. It is the offers. You guys got to make offers. In majority of cases I see, you guys ask me to look over your action plan and stuff. Most of you just not making enough offers. You gotta make those offers. That's probably like the most important thing I can leave you with. It sounds so basic and so trivial, but some of this shit really just boils down to the basics, right? You gotta be making offers. Not so much as speculating and like all these different things. You gotta be comfortable with rejection. Like I said, it's going to happen. It's a part of the process. But also when you're hitting that volume, you're moving so fast. You're worried about making so many follow-up offers. Your schedule is so busy. Well, see, when you get rejected, half the time it's not you don't even think about it. It just bounces right off of you. And again, we'll talk more about the rejection thing. But Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you something very, very morbid. It's kind of maybe make you think of me as a little bit weird. Check this out. This is the background of my phone. And just as a disclaimer, this is a lock screen. So my home screen is my daughter. That's my why, my everything. So before this looks like super emo and weird. This is the background. I don't know if you can see it. There of my phone. And I don't know if you can see what that is, but basically that is a headstone. And the reason I keep that there, and I've been keeping that there, as weird as it sounds, is because I try to remind myself and not to attract that into my life or something, or again, be morbid or something. But part of one thing I like to remind myself is like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Literally, I'm going to stop breathing one day. I'm going to be 6 feet underground. And life will be gone from my body. Obviously, I want to leave a legacy where I get remembered, but a couple generations, nobody might not ever know I was even here, right? And the reason I do that is because there are a lot of times where, especially in my past, I don't want to do things. Like even now, I've been hit up to do, like, let's say, speaking engagements. Speaking engagements are the things I've done. It's not something that necessarily comes naturally to me. And if it's an audience I'm familiar with or whatever, it's cool. But some of them, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Or, people hit me up to be on various podcasts. I don't know if I really want to do that. Now I look at something like that. I'm like, you know what? Let's go for it, man. I'm going to die. Let's go for it. When I used to be scared to, like, get cursed out by these people and make phone calls and say, I really don't want to. I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination. Dude, you can die. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And so a lot of you, like, really think that you're putting too much importance on this stuff, too much importance on one deal, too much importance on one phone call, too much importance on anything. I remember even now, one thing I like, if you follow me on, let's say, Snapchat or something, I like to go out. I like to go hang out in nightclubs, really. I'm a big fan of Vegas. I like to that's part of the reason I live the life I live, because I like to hang out. But being social and stuff like that is not something that always came very naturally to me. So a lot of times, let's say I'm in a club, or even times I'm walking the mall, I'm a single dude. I might see a very beautiful woman. I say, man, I want to talk to her. I say, well, she's intimidating, especially she's really, really cute or something. It's a little bit intimidating. I don't want to. I remember, like, what do you have to lose? You're going to die. You go up, doesn't work out. You're in the same situation you're in anyway. Same with your offers. But if you go out, talk to her, make a nice date, something like that, shit, this could be an amazing woman, an amazing part of your life. You go up, you make that offer, you call that seller. If it doesn't work out, you're no further along. If it works out, you might be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 richer. And at the end of the day, that rejection doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're going to die. So, I don't know if that's necessarily the best point to end on, but guys, the processes are there. Go back to the modules, follow the shit that I lay out for you. If you have questions about any advanced stuff, or when you should move on, or when you should be hitting your direct mail, post in the group. I'd love to see this kind of feedback. I want to have these conversations and discussions with you guys. If you guys are in the VIP tier where you have direct access to me, that is a lifetime program. You hit me up anytime. I'd be happy to spend that time with you, talk to you, and give you my feedback on exactly what I know to work, what I've seen work, not only with myself, with other students that I came up with, that were in even my mentoring and mastermind circle, and then that I've seen in successful students. Success leaves clues, right? And so there's some clues to this stuff. And not to say it's going to be hard or anything, but I think I gave you guys some stuff that you can work with. So again, keep grinding, keep doing your thing. Reach out to me, hit me up, post in the group, all that good stuff. Let's see how long we've been on here now. It's supposed to be like a 5-minute response, and here we are, almost an hour now. So I really hope that you guys found that helpful. And yep, Jay and I are gonna go do some go-karting now, play some video games and stuff. And I'll probably check back in the group and a little bit later when I get back tonight. And on that note, I'm here busy working on a couple different things. Also a side project I have going on. Rehab project, parenting, chilling, hitting you guys up. And guess what? I made my 20 offers today on my listed properties. Make your 20 offers today. If not, you got no excuses. 6 o'clock, the clock doesn't stop, man. You could put in, that's another excuse. Well, it's late. I don't know if they'll read my email if I email them at 9 p.m. No. Speed of implementation, do it. If you haven't made your offers today, and you're watching this, do it right now. Right now. Make your offers. Put your offers in right now. And then get in the habit. Make it a set time that you do that every day. But I did my offers today in addition to coaching and everything else that I'm doing. I know some of you guys got work and stuff like that, but no excuses, man. You can have excuses or you can have results. Get your offers in, hit it with your feedback. Though this session was mostly just me talking at you and we didn't do many questions or the interaction I do like. Definitely down to do that. So we'll do that soon where we can just do a strictly Q&A. But for now, I hope you guys found that helpful. It's like the longest outro ever. I'm going to go now. Hit me up, guys. Do your thing. I got faith in you. I love y'all. Be in touch. Peace.